name is Haylie Callahan. I am a junior. My major is psychology with a minor in biology. I don't know. I've just always found it really interesting, like why people do what they do. You know, like why they do things. And everyone has always been like, oh, that's psychology. Like, yeah, that's psychology. And it wasn't until I actually took one of the classes that Dr. White teaches, it's psychopharmacology, that I realized I want to know why people do what they do, but like biologically and like chemically why they do what they do. And it's just always been like an interesting concept to me, why people just like make their decisions, and like they don't even really think that much about them, they just make them. I actually didn't even know that their undergraduate research was possible for me to do until I took one of my psychology classes, and my professor was like, hey guys, like by the way, I have openings in my lab if you want to join. And I was like, you can join a lab as an undergrad? And so then like I looked more into labs, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and like none of them really like stood out to me. And honestly, even Dr. White's in his like little description, I read it and I was like, I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means right now. And then again, I took psychopharm, and Dr. White had talked about his research a little bit, and I was like, you know, this is a really interesting topic for me. I loved the class, absolutely loved it. If I find out someone's a psychology major, I ask them if they've taken it, because I want to know what their thoughts on it, because I love to talk about it. And yeah, I talked to him about joining his lab, and then from there I've kind of like tried to figure out what I want to do, but it was really Dr. White that I was like, oh, this is actually like something that I'm interested in, and I want to join this lab. This is kind of like not really related, but in a way it kind of is. I've kind of learned that it's okay to not really know what's going on. When I first joined the lab, I was sitting in my first lab meeting, and I was just like sitting there minding my own business, like listening to what everyone else was saying, and they were all talking about so many different things, and everyone seemed like they knew exactly what they were talking about. And they were like, oh, well, what about this? Or like, well, couldn't it be this? Or what if we looked at this? And I was like, okay, I don't belong here. I should not be in this lab. I need to pack up and leave right now, because like I am not as smart as I think I am. And as time went on, I knew what was happening and what everyone was talking about, and now I feel like I'm not like in the position where I'm like, oh, well, like I still like speak out sometimes, but I know that like new people, when they come in, they have no idea what's going on, and that's how it's gonna feel. And Dr. White always says, like, he's like, well, how did you feel at your first lab meeting? It was scary, wasn't it? And he's like, it's okay to not know what's going on, because like you're not gonna know everything, and like as time goes on, you're gonna learn more. And I guess he was right. But yeah, and again, that's not really like super related to the lab, but like it did kind of show me that like it's okay to not have like, I don't have to know everything, and I don't need to stress about not knowing everything. I haven't personally been doing injections, because like I'm still like I was like kind of relatively new. Now I kind of like gotta get more into it. But what I was doing for a while was like, I don't want to say coding, because I know that's not the proper term, but like, I was like recording data I was recording data. We have like a system that tells us like the amount of times the birds like distress vocalize, and like we write those down at like a certain point throughout the experiment, and that's pretty much what I did, was just like write down those numbers. So we are looking at pre and probiotics to see if they produce an antidepressant effect. We are using the pre and probiotics, an antidepressant, and then so one group is going to get the pre and probiotics, another group is going to get the antidepressant, and then another group is going to get the antidepressant and the pre and probiotics, and we're going to like compare the three groups and see if there's an antidepressant effect. I would say probably reading the articles. We have two articles that he wants us to read every semester, and it's about like animal models and the validity of animal models, and there's one specifically that's really, really difficult to read, and he also has people present them, and that's another thing that's kind of difficult to like, you can't really get out of it. Like if you're in it for a semester, then you're more than likely going to present an article, and it's definitely scary, and it's kind of imposter syndrome-ish, like, oh, do I actually know what I'm talking about? But that, I would say that's probably like the biggest thing. But in a way, it's also helpful because he always talks about how like in grad school we're gonna have to do that a lot, and like it's better for us to get the practice in now, where like we're not being judged about like if we say the wrong things or if we mess up in any kind of way, or if we're like panicking and sweating and stuff. Like it's okay to do it in like this group that we're like, we know each other and like we can help each other. It definitely is. It definitely could be a lot depending on the person. I do have to like work my my course schedule around my like the lab meetings. I mean, like they're only like 1 day a week, 1 hour on that day, but it also kind of helps me because I can be like, oh, Wednesday's my day to do absolutely nothing at all. Like I can go to my lab meeting and I can go home and do nothing, or I can actually spend that time to work on homework, or do literally whatever I want. But it can be kind of difficult to juggle classes and the lab, and especially if you're working, especially if you're working during the week, it can be kind of difficult. And specifically in the study that we're running it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I had to work on Monday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday I had my class from 10 to 11:50, and then my lab from 1 to 3:50. So it's like I'm gonna have to find time to get in there at some point. So I had to switch one of those 2 shifts, and it's a lot of work to like try and like move everything around so like I can make sure that I get in and I help out, because of course I want to go in there and help, like not only to benefit myself but to benefit the person whose study it is, and like make sure that they're not having to do it all by themselves. So it can be difficult. It just definitely have to have enough time management to like sit down and be like, okay, like this is what I have to get done for the week, and like this is what I have to get done for the week, or like whatever, and then like these are the duties I guess that I have, or like the meetings and stuff that I have. So yeah, it definitely can be difficult. I definitely feel like it's helped me in a lot of different ways. First, like one big reason is, Dr. White is my mentor, so he's helped me with not classes, but like school itself. I actually went to him a couple maybe like last week, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, and he was like, and that's okay. And he kind of like helped me out, and like we looked at schools together and like what kind of programs I wanted to look into, and like what kind of research I want to do. And I'm really grateful that he takes his time to do that. And I mean, he could have been like, oh, okay, like it's not really my problem. And so that's like one of the biggest things. Like Dr. White is definitely a big help because I can like complain to him or just talk with him and whatever. I also, I mean, kind of cheesy, but I did get friends out of it. I became really good friends with another girl who's in the lab. And academically, yeah, for sure. I have other people in this lab that, I mean, most of them are psychology majors, and I'm able to talk to them about like, oh, well, like what class are you taking? And like we just so happen to be either taking the same class, or I'm about to take that class, or they're about to take a class that I'm taking, and like we can help each other out on like the different kind of concepts, and like, oh, well, you can borrow my book, and like what kind of professors to take, or like which professors to take. And yeah, there's definitely like many aspects that I've